What's ISOM's superpower?
What are ISOM's superpowers?
Can he fly?
There's artwork of him out there, like, doing some flying.
Let's talk warehouses and warehouses-related things.
Is that the only thing you're allowed to watch in the warehouse is Eric July's own videos?
Can you thank Eric July for the great comic? Thanks for working on the International School of Ministry.
International School of Ministry.
He's a superhero. He puts himself in danger. We need to know what kind of super abilities he has.
Okay, so how much does the Blaze pay you? You got your picture on the wall. You must do something for him.
Did Miles, like, come in his life or something? What happened?
And your shipping department needs to know you need smaller mailers or to wrap them properly because this book came damaged.
Y'all really bought that shit butt ass comic book. I'm crying.
And what do you mean by new legacy characters? They're a legacy character, like it wouldn't be new.
What?
If she has a constant whirlwind that surrounds her, how could you make out the icicles that seem to grow from her pores?
Okay, what's your plot? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
What do you mean, like going into the future for ISOM 1, 2, and 3?
What do you mean new?
I'm retarded?
I don't understand it.
It's actual fandom, and yeah, generally it's not a whole lot different from what you do, at least in terms of like the approach that we take and the content that we cover. I dedicate a lot of content time to debunking what I call anti-fans. People that engage with this media all the time, but seem to do nothing but hate it, and in many cases just lie about it. But yeah, I'd like to, figure out some way we can collaborate, in the future on something, I don't know, some focused topic or whatever. So.
Because yeah, like all these guys cross over in each other's show, and it's like we should do something like that minus the bigotry. That would be nice.
Right. I think that there's really a demand for it. We just have to. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, definitely. I too would like to talk to Turf Nation. You're alive. We got actual fandom and Turf Nation here. Yeah, this is the first. What was it called?
The Initiative.
Yeah, the Initiative. Right.
Yeah, no, I love me talk about how the box office for 2020 sank because of wokeism. It's like. Or COVID, guys.
Well, aren't they the same thing?
Oh.
Isn't COVID just viralized wokeness?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's no definition, we can make and mean whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about that.
Exactly.
I think we have a lot to talk about. Way, way too much to talk about in one stream. But yeah, which is why we should probably do more of these on a more regular basis. I said we'd fuck someone's dad. That's not the same.
I said I would fuck them.
And
the thing is they would want it. That's the difference there. I know you guys jump right to great when it's like, because maybe you don't know what it's like to have consensual. I don't know. But when I say I'm gonna fuck somebody, that means they're gonna ask me to do it, and whenever we're done, they're gonna ask me to hang around for a while, and like, they're gonna try and make me some dinner, and I'm gonna go, I gotta leave. I'm sorry, I gotta go, and they're gonna like, please stay a little longer, please. Are you being serious, dude? It was fucking. Look, these people are fucking so off their own ass with dumb shit, man.
Who said they wanted it? Good thing you didn't get a reaction out of him.
I give him a reaction because look, I kind of
charity.
I look out on my YouTube feed and I see like these little channels and they're getting like 40 views because they made a video about me, talking shit to somebody in chat, and I'm like, hey man, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, man. Yeah, I'm happy for you.
It's charity. Yeah, it's like helping out the little guy.
Yeah, we were all there.
where they just show up and they just say this random shit.
Bro,
Like,
Bob's not here. Alright? I don't know what to tell you.
And I'm just gonna say that I'm pretty sure he didn't defend terrorism.
Me and Dane, we've just been
supporting terrorism, right? Because that's the important thing I want to get. I want to make sure we cover that.
And graping, and anybody, if you disagree with me, I'm gonna grape your family, because that's what I do.
Well, thank you. I was hoping to get clipped.
Oh god. Everyone, I'm associated with actual fandom organized chaos group.
I'm just waiting for the YouTube for organized chaos supports defending terrorism.
You know what? At this point, I kind of just like fuck it, welcome it, because I mean, you look at the people that are like the griftiest grifters there are, and the shit they say, and it's like it seems like saying dicey shit just seems to work for them. So like, maybe we need to be dicier.
We're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned. I really just want to make that clear.
Stream begins soon. Well, let's wait a little longer. Maybe I'll lose a couple more viewers. Hello, sorry about the wait, guys. I really did intend to be on at noon. It's noon Pacific time. On the hour. I meant to be started, but then my camera just sometimes decides that it doesn't want to work properly whenever, and of course I only figure that out whenever I'm trying to get on the stream and start streaming. So, cool, yeah. Wasn't sure if anyone was going to show up. So a few of you that are watching on the 2 different channels, cool. Thanks for being here. Just kind of decided to try this out. We are experimenting with how we're going to be doing initiative streams, as in like it's maybe not always just like Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, or whatever it is for you. Maybe we can do a little bit more adaptable thing. One thing we're going to try is possibly streaming, even if we're streaming like a solo stream, like I'm doing my Friday live AF streams. I'm going to also send that to the initiative channel. Just see what happens, right? It can't hurt, or it can, and then we figure that out the hard way. Anyway, good evening. Is it evening for you? It's still, it's just noon o'clock for me, but yeah, good, whatever time of day it is to you. Yeah, so I figured, why the hell wouldn't I just like do like a Wednesday new comics kind of roundup and just kind of comics chat thing for a little while. I'm not sure what time we're supposed to start the initiative stream proper, right? 8 p.m. in the UK. Hell yeah, nighttime, best time, Not sure what time we're gonna actually start the regular stream Wednesday show, but we will at some point. Yeah, and otherwise, so who all here gets comics on Wednesdays? Anybody? Or Tuesdays if it's DC, I suppose. DC kind of broke the tradition. Those sons of bitches embrace tradition, embrace it. Segue to promoting the initiative stream in a little while. That's kind of part of what we're going to be talking about. Is this? I guess I can preview a little bit. Why not? It's my stream. So we're going to be doing talking about this Shadiversity guy and something that he had said that's pretty specific. We're going to be talking about Sneeko. Because I know the name and I know generally that he's kind of a shithead, but I don't really know much other than that. But it seems like he's got a lot of young people looking up to him and whatnot. And that seems like that's probably a bad idea. So we're going to look into that a little bit. We're going to look at some narratives, as we always do, as far as some weird stuff going around about One Piece. In particular, one of the actors on One Piece. Wednesday is Ashoka. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things it is for me too. part of the Red Pill Menace. Is that their official name, or please tell me it's not? And they, that's just lazy if so. Yeah, I mean, so the one thing I do know about him is that I watched a video clip that from the other day, I guess, where he was out in public somewhere, and a bunch of his, little 12-year-old fans came up to him and were saying some yikesy stuff, and he seemed like, that's it, huh? Okay, appreciate you the info there. So what his reaction to it is like, oh my God, what have I done? And it almost kind of looks like he might be having a moment of, like, I don't know, self-reflection or something. But then like later he tweeted basically just like, no, these boys are awesome. Boys will be boys. And it's like, oh man, I said some pretty yikesy stuff when I was 10, 12 years old, but like it was not on camera and just like proudly saying, fuck the women and then like something harmful about LGBTQ people. Like I wouldn't have even said that, I just never would have said anything like that. So I don't think it's just typical boys will be boys. I think these guys are pumping out some pretty shitty ideas into young people. And that sucks. So did you watch Ahsoka yet? Is it any good? Last week was pretty good. All right. So the comics that I got this week, I don't normally get a lot of comics every week or anything. There just happened to be several things that I was very excited about. The main one, in case you can't tell by the way the stream is titled and stuff, just like a boyhood dream come true. You know what I mean? Like if you are I don't want to just limit it to boys, but like if you're someone of a certain age and you were into like comics in the 80s and 90s, you're also into sci-fi movies and stuff in the 80s and 90s. At some point or another, you probably imagine what would happen if Wolverine fought the Predator, right? But we've already gotten what Batman, Superman fought the Predator and the aliens before. DC and Dark Horse crossed over a couple times with that. So that's cool and everything. But like, what we really wanted to see is Wolverine fight Predator. And also Wolverine slicing up some xenomorphs. I'm still waiting for that, but I'm sure we'll get there. Yeah, so apparently it's not even they aren't like making that public. They aren't like talking about it in the promotion. They aren't the character that I think it's a trans man. The character he's playing is not trans, and like there's nothing about it that it matters to anything, like this. So like normally they're trying to say that they're pushing an agenda by having a character, and it's like they didn't even know that he was trans until I guess somebody pointed it out to him. So it's like now they're getting upset about it. Just seems like kind of disingenuous, right? Hell yeah. Yeah, I just speaking of X-Men, another book that I got was read Uncanny Avengers #2, which wasn't quite as good as #1. The art definitely wasn't as good as #1, but generally I'm still on board with what's going on. It's good stuff. Uncanny Spider-Man #1. That one's an interesting one. That's one I've had my eye on for a while, just because it's Nightcrawler dressed as Spider-Man being Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And what comic stream would be complete without the thing, right? Wow. Are you being sincere, or is that just like super duper sarcasm? Because I can't tell in text. I mean, it's really good. I think it's the best show other than Andor so far, as far as Star Wars. Yeah, Batman versus Predator, and then there was also I remember there was one that had both Superman and Batman in it. That is a good question. I don't think that I think that the adamantium would hold up, honestly. Like, we have no reason to think that the acid blood of a xenomorph is any stronger than any, like, acidic substance that we have in real life that can, burn through shit or whatever, or melt through stuff. So, like, if his adamantium is stronger than essentially any worldly substance that we know of, I don't see any reason to think that xenomorph blood would be any better. Yeah, Superman versus Alien. That's what it was. Or that was one of them. They did several of those, didn't they? God damn. And they all just kind of blend together in my head, because the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, this is pretty cool. But you know what I really want? Wolverine. And we got it now. So, okay, fair enough. I mean, hey, I'm cool with exaggeration. I just needed to know for context of, like, kind of how to measure my expectations. I mean, unless like if a queen alien got like gutted like right over him, and like all that acid blood just kind of like fell on top of him at once or something, like a lot of it. I don't know. I mean, I guess eventually he'd come back, depending on, because he's come back from some pretty ridiculous conditions in the comics before. But it would probably take him a while, I guess. I guess I should have waited until there was more people that showed up before I... Oh, sorry. Here's my alarm telling me to wake up. I should have waited instead of doing it right at the beginning of the stream to explain that we're kind of going to be experimenting with different types of streams when we do streams and whatnot. Like, I mean, we're going to try and stick to the general, Wednesday. And in extreme cases, if we can't do a Wednesday stream for some reason, we will try and do a Thursday or maybe a Tuesday. But we're going to do our one set for sure. And then, like today, I think what we're doing is I'm doing this. And then at some point, whenever two of the other guys let me know they're ready, we'll end this stream and start up the other one, the official initiative stream. And then we'll do it like normal. And then I think we're also streaming tomorrow. So just trying out different stuff. I think generally we're going to, like, whenever we do a solo stream on our own channel, like when I do my Friday streams or Sunday, I will also push that through to the initiative channel, which I am on now as well, if you're not aware. Just see what happens. Yeah, I think so too. Oh God. I mean, yeah, I don't see why not, to be honest. Like, well, okay. Depending on who's writing it, his healing factor can be varied levels of quick. There might be a way that it could be that the healing factor would essentially fight off the pregnancy. You know what I mean? Like, it could just, I don't know, purge it or something like that. The way it would purge a bullet that gets lodged in his flesh. Yeah. That was one of the more ridiculous ones, for sure. As well as at the end of Grant Morrison's run on X-Men, whenever he and Jean got launched into the freaking sun, and like they were just about to hit it. He had already like stabbed Jean and killed her because like she was suffering, and he was just like, if I kill her, then she won't suffer anymore before we die in the sun. And he's just like, his flesh is melting off. But then she came to, like, Phoenix woke up right at the last minute and saved them both, but like he had already been pretty much disintegrated almost, and he came back from that. So true. The one on the initiative channel will probably, just because, so we have to kind of keep, we don't want to split views, and like it's tricky trying to do a thing where several different channels are involved, because we try to make sure that it's as fair as possible. So like, I don't want to steal any views from Bob, for example, or you know what I mean, or vice versa. So as far as like more people are just watching it on my channel or something like that, whenever they could be watching it on his, that kind of thing. So it's a constant back and forth, constant trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. But that said, if you want to ever, watch a stream, you can follow me on Patreon for free, for one thing. Also, it usually stays up on Turf's channel. I think it usually stays up, or DJ has it up for a while or something. We all do different stuff with it. So what I typically do is private it after like a day or something, sometimes sooner, and there's a few reasons for that as well. But generally I will post it up on Patreon, and if you follow me for the free follow that you can do over there, by the way, patreon.com/actualphantom, follow me for free, don't have to pay anything, and then I try to give some exclusive content to anybody that's following me over there, regardless of if you pay for anything or not. And then if you are a supporter for like $3, whatever, you get even more exclusive stuff. So yeah, I'm working on trying to get my channel monetized again, so I can hopefully have a more ideal situation going on. But with YouTube, there is no ideal. You saw a thingy? What was that, a comic? Or yeah, I think he has, now that you mention it. Right? Like, I kind of need to see that now. I talked about it on a Friday stream a couple of weeks ago, but did anybody read this recent yeah, they will be. Look, I'm behind on uploading stuff. That's just, I'm behind on editing, I'm behind on uploading. But eventually everything will be on Patreon, and then I think eventually everything will be back on my channel too. I just have to kind of, it's a whole explanation that it wouldn't be fun for this. So I'm going to try and get most of my content back onto, just easily available on my channel, but there's a reason why it's not. So I am going to try and edit if you're talking about the Secret Empire stuff, I'm going to try and edit those 2 streams that we did on that down to like just the good bits and upload it. Might be a while, but anyways, speaking of Fapcast, Sundays are Fapcasts, and this coming Sunday we're going to be talking about. Oh, I see. We're going to be talking about cults, and in particular cults and people, public figures who are part of a cult. So like, Scientology and Tom Cruise, for example, or Danny Masterson. And then, then there's whatever the fuck Tulsi Gabbard is part of. Talk about the crazy shit that she grew up in and is still part of that doesn't get talked about enough. Matter of fact, I'm going to play this promo while I grab some water. I will be right back.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
The only way that you can really stop this kind of thing is to arouse public opinion. It's very upsetting. It has a bad moral effect.
Forced adversity.
Ask yourself, what's more terrifying, fear or the frightened?
The facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
Bad, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Socialism has spread the shadow of human regimentation over most of the nations of the earth.
and they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are.
How do you think homosexuals reveal themselves?
And the shadow is encroaching upon our...
We're going to figure that out one day, how it is that homosexuals reveal themselves. I'm going to figure it out, damn it. I'm going to figure it out. No, yeah, those are good ones. I mean, look, I've got notes for a video about essentially, well, I've actually done one video already that kind of briefly touches on why Comicsgate has characteristics of a cult. That's on my channel. You can watch that. Pretty self-explanatory. It's got like Ethan Van Sciver's face and then Scientology on it on the thumbnail. But it's like that was whenever he had somebody that was a supporter and a fan of his or something decided to not be a supporter and fan or whatever, and Ethan doxed him on a stream, and then the guy who was on a stream with was like, "Do you normally dox your fans like that?" And Ethan just straight up was like, "Yeah, when they're when they're not fans anymore, or when they're not, you know what I mean, when they're not customers anymore, or something like that." And it's like, dude, that is exactly what cults do. Like, because one of the main differences between a cult and a just a religion, right, is that generally, like, if you're going to the Catholic church in the neighborhood or whatever, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do, and then you decide, I don't want to go to this church anymore, nobody's going to care, really. Like, you might have people like calling you and say, "Oh, why'd you stop going?" But like a cult like Scientology, if you try and leave Scientology, if you manage to leave Scientology, they're going to have people track you down. They're going to chase you. They're going to stalk you. They're going to fucking, do stuff to your life. You know what I mean? And like, that's one of the characteristics. I mean, look, I did a stream a couple of years ago on New Year's Eve about, I did a eulogy for Comicsgate because I think what I meant whenever I said that it was dead was that it was not growing anymore, and it's still not. It's probably shrunk even more. But like, there was a couple of year period where it seemed like Comicsgate was growing. It had some kind of, I guess, power to some degree, whatever kind of gross power it is that they had. It's definitely not that anymore. And I don't think that it can grow anymore. I think that the name has been saturated, and that anybody that is going to potentially be involved with comics or comics fandom, you either know what Comicsgate is and you're cool with it, or you know what it is and it's shitty and awful, and that's most people. So yep. Isaac Hayes, yeah, I mean, he might get brought up. Now that he probably will, now that you mentioned it. Yeah. By the way, I made a video clip based off of your question the other day. It was really good. It was a good question, and then I know it's funny because at the beginning I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to answer that tonight," and then I kind of took a couple of minutes to answer it, and I was listening back, and I was like, "That's actually a pretty good answer." I'm pretty proud of that, considering I was tired as shit. So yeah. Got some videos, some clips. So did anybody get comics today? Anybody? No? Yeah, no. What? Oh, aren't you you're the person that was in the comment section that thinks that you can't trust Wikipedia, which is like, okay, fair enough, but like, you were arguing about not believing what our video said, even though there was other ways that you could confirm or disconfirm, unconfirm what was in my video. That was you, right? Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to be part of, like we were doing like official, you know, membership kind of thing at first. It's kind of dumb. What do you mean? Yes, put it in the video, clown. Dude, like everybody that's reading your comment under that video is laughing at you. I just want you to understand that. Like, I know you think you're being skeptical and like and smarter than, you know, some rando on YouTube that's trying to feed you a bunch of bullshit, but like it doesn't require any, you know, extra effort. The fact that you are spending more time and energy trying to, you know, discredit my video instead of just like going and looking for yourself at any of the sources that are shown in the video tells me that your bias is keeping you, you know, kind of lodged like a fucking stuck turd. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you know, I mean, and you also called me a name. Sorry, but, you know, you can fuck off. Yeah, new ones. No, the quartering is not the one that put the Wikipedia page in his video, Philip. That was me. I literally say that in the video. I added the Wikipedia page to the to his ad copy rather than show their product. Anyways, big robot news today is gone. They can, you know, this isn't robot news anyway. So what else did I get real quick? I got Wolverine number 37, Wolverine and the Hulk. Can't beat that, you know. Uncanny Spider-Man, Uncanny Avengers, Dark X-Men. There's a new Captain America run starting. J. Michael Straczynski. I think I might get that new Wonder Woman. Try that out. I'm always trying to get into Wonder Woman, but like, I mean, I don't dislike her or anything like that, but it's not usually one that I'll keep picking up on a monthly basis. Anyway, check this out.
Every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us.
Chud dog whistles. Get one today.
Embrace tradition.
Nice. Hell yeah. It's a good product. I condone and endorse that product. Okay. Am I reading New Ms. Marvel? I've read. There's only one issue out so far, but it was okay. I mean, it's pretty good. Like I mostly was reading it because I'm kind of into what's going on generally with the mutants right now. Aman Vellani, that being her first comic book, I assume, or at least first, you know, mainstream major comic book. She's got some growing to do as a writer, I think, but she's not without promise. So what do you guys think about the name of this? If I do this every Wednesday, you know, like just like an hour or so stream where I talk about the new comics and whatnot, I was trying to think of a name for it that would be part initiative, so that because it's kind of like a satellite show to the initiative, but also have a comics related name, right? So like, I was trying to think of words like, you know, like the pull list. Even though, but like everything has, every website for comics or whatever has something called the pull list or the pull box or whatever. So I was just trying to think of comic specific words, and then finally I came up with floppy. So I said, hey, the Floppy Initiative. Why not? I thought about that one, Mark. I actually did. But I think the floppy is fun. See, the paperback initiative would kind of indicate possibly like books, though, like just like, you know, books without pictures, like for losers. Yeah, I'm trade waiting on that one, unfortunately. I saw it and I was like, man, I wish I could just afford to buy all 6 issues, but I'm gonna wait, get the trade as soon as it drops. So yeah, this is just a quick thing I came up with today. There it is. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna read it. Once I found out that they were doing cool stuff with, he was doing cool stuff with like the different powers of the Superman family. I'm into that. Shaking up the status quo, I'm all about it, as long as it's, you know, something cool. That's what we do around here. That's like probably, I don't know, 54% of what we do around here. Superman is so like, I've been interested in Superman quite a bit, but like then there's also times whenever I just don't care. That's just the kind of character he is, apparently, that like depending on what you do with him, he can be one of the greatest, you know, characters to have a story around, or just like boring as shit. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this a bit later on.
I got engaged.
Oh, wow. That's great. What's her name?
Kiko. She's one of the science crew.
You got engaged to someone you just met?
Buzz. I met her 3 years ago.
The false lie that this progressive movement, Disney, is trying to say, they're trying to say that all this narrative, all the LGBT, you know, agenda is not only equivalent, and I don't think I can be fully accepting, you can be fully accepting by acknowledging the difference, saying that there is not an equivalence here between a relationship which can conceive life and a relationship that can't. There is a biological.
So there's so much wrong with what this dude is fucking saying in this clip that it's absurd. Like we looked at it, the group looked at it yesterday in our production meeting, and we were like, just all of us had 3 things each that were, you know, to point out about how wrong he is with essentially everything he says. You know, and of course bigoted, but like wrong, just like factually stupid on a lot of points. But the one thing that really stood out to me is, yeah, you'll see.
Non-equivalence there, okay? So this lie that people are pushing is this, that if you don't accept it as equivalent, and even further, if you do not celebrate and push it, you're a vile, evil bigot. That's bullcrap. Don't accept it, push back against it, embrace tradition. That's the thing. But
let me know, everybody, if you caught that.
that's what Disney's trying to do. They are trying to normalize stuff to influence kids. And this is why there's an issue for conservative parents like me between, say, a straight kiss and a gay kiss, okay? That's bullcrap. Don't accept it, push back against it, embrace tradition.
Embrace tradition. Embrace tradition.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even close to one of the issues with what he's talking about. And like, I mean, I don't think that that's a big deal. Like, he talks about nerd stuff generally, I guess, or whatever. I don't want to be limited like that. You know, I'm kind of known somewhat for comics and stuff, but like, I also don't want to just be stuck with just comics and talk about other stuff. Hello, McLeod. How you doing? Well, the thing is that he's a Christian, kinda, but he's Mormon. So that's an interesting wrinkle, right? Oh, I don't think we failed, man. We're doing pretty good. I mean, look, you know, whenever we first started getting together to do this, a couple of people were like, "Oh, it's not gonna work," right? And I was like, "What do you think the goal is?" Right? Because it's like people seem to think that we were coming together to be like, "We're gonna take down the Fandom Menace" or something. It's like, no, you know, we're not, because we can't change all those minds. We would have to change all the minds of all the people that watch them, and they just have had a long head start. It's really easy to make that kind of content that they make. They don't have to think about it. They can crank it out, you know, dime a dozen. No, we never had any illusions that we were going to like take them down or something like that. The point was just to have a counter presence, you know, somebody that's speaking directly against it. And then also we've had a great time. You know what I mean? Like we found friendship in all this. I know that sounds, kind of sentimental and stuff, but like it's been really great. Organized Chaos, Turf Nation, Eric Debunks, we've all gotten pretty close. To have other people that kind of just throw themselves at the at the fire the way that we do. There's not many of us, you know what I mean? So there's not many people that know what that experience is like and to deal with these kinds of people. And it's like, we choose it. We're not victims. You know what I mean? That's what I try and tell people, that like people that worry or something like, oh, I'm worried that these people are saying things about you. It's like, I'm not, but yeah, it's been a cool experience and we've made some cool content. We've had good times and that's great. And then we've also fortunately heard from people independently and as a group that we've helped get out of that stuff, get out of that content. And, that's what it's all about. Yeah, so I was reading some stuff about him. And apparently he is very terrible at like just this thing that he's supposed to be a specialist in, right? Dude, I have my freaking Illuminati trade signed by Bendis too. Not even joking. I've got my Illuminati trade. I've got New Avengers Volume 1 trade signed by him. What else did I have? Secret Invasion? Yeah, same one. I mean, of course, we'd always like to be able to help more people than we do, but like we also understand that the deck is stacked against us. For in a few ways. But it is what it is. Anyway, so in case nobody caught what it was that he said specifically that I was talking about, what's up, Matt, the film guy? How you doing, man? This is a comic stream, Matt, the film guy, so you're not going to be interested, okay? So yeah, there's a quick explainer after this.
Fascism.
So he had said embrace tradition, and he repeated that, and then he like made sure to do this and like look directly in the camera when he said it one time. So, just embrace tradition, as it seems like a pretty somewhat harmless thing, right?
It does have recognizable criteria, and it's important to understand those details, rather than just calling every political opponent a fascist. There are 14 tenets that indicate fascistic ideology. These are combining multiple traditions, ignoring contradictory parts, and interpreting a primeval truth.
So, if you ever heard the phrase, embrace tradition, reject modernity, or reject modernism, that's half of what he was saying, or he was saying half of that, and he said it with a lot of emphasis. He looked right in the camera and did a little, fist move. He's doing, he's signaling, man. He is signaling. He's doing this.
Embrace tradition.
Every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us.
Yeah, I have it. People recommended that to me, and I was looking for, a good Superman book that I hadn't read, and I got it, and it was like, it's fine. It, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it didn't like blow me away or anything. Let me gonna check on these other fellows and see if any of them have an idea what we're doing. And then I can play that clip that from the other day. If you guys like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Where the F? All right, so Sandman, you're gonna make your maybe debut in a video here. Whole sales are plummeting and busting in 20. Oh, I see what you're saying. I have talked about it here and there on different streams, but like essentially, they don't have the relevant information to make accurate criticisms about that or make accurate points about that because nobody does. It is so hard to track sales of comic books right now. Probably harder than it's ever been since they've been doing it. Because, you know, for a long time it was just Diamond distributing comics. So you just get information from Diamond. There's so many disparate distribution situations right now. And they all kind of catalog things differently. They don't all release information, you know, the right information or what everybody wants or whatever. So like the best thing that can be done is to kind of just ask comic shops. That was another thing me and that guy in emails were talking about. He was really worried about the comic shops. And like, I'm like, yeah, man, me too. I grew up going to comic shops. It fucking sucks that it's hard to keep them open. But at the same time, a lot of brick and mortar stores in every industry are struggling because that's just kind of where society is going, unfortunately, or fortunately in some ways, unfortunate in others, where people don't like as much to go to a physical place and buy things. But the people, this is important to remember, Sandman. The people who are constantly whinging about the state of the industry and comics are dying or whatever, you have to ask them yourselves, why do they dedicate so much fucking time and energy to convincing everyone that comics suck then? Do they want them to do better? Of course they don't. They're not talking about how well or poorly these things are doing, you know, and generally they're not being accurate or truthful. But they don't talk about that because they're trying to save the industry. Just think about it in that simple terms. It's nonsensical. If I want something to do well, and I'm concerned about the industry, and I'm concerned about the comic shops and the creators, right? And that's what I'm concerned about. Even if I don't like the stuff, why would I, you know, I'm going to still promote that industry and those creators and those shops because that's what I care about, right? And that was a hypothetical because I actually do care about all of those, but I also think generally there's good comics and bad comics, just like there's always been, but actually there's so many more comics and such a broad range of creators that are working on them now that I think it's a great time to be a comics fan. It really is. If you care about the industry, support it. If you care about comic shops, go shop at them. But dedicating your time and your days to just telling everybody how shit it is or whatever, you're not concerned about those things. You're concerned about your narrative. You're concerned about your pushing your agenda. You're an activist. I was muted. That guy makes good points. So I don't know what he's about, but I would trust him if I were you. I mean, we looked at that on the Fapcast at one point. So much stuff I need to edit. I need to stop doing streams. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not going to leave them up, but like, I don't even want to say, I can't even say one of the reasons publicly why I did. Anyway, so the thing with manga is that they're not in competition. That's, you know, there's always like some really almost seems overly simplistic thing that if you add this context to their narratives, then their narrative falls apart. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they may as well be two completely different industries, but I mean, the thing is that manga has done really, really well in the last decade. It is like fucking crazy how good manga sells. And comics have not sold that well as manga, but comics have done pretty well. We're starting to see there's just a boom and bust cycle in the comics industry, and there always has been. Right now, we're on the other side of a little mini bust where, like, up until the pandemic, comic sales were breaking records. Then the pandemic happened, and of course that affected essentially every industry. And then it actually, and in some ways, it boosted sales in like trades and digital because people were at home. You know what I mean? So like everybody wanted to read something. But that, like somebody had said earlier, I think it was a Head Ninja had mentioned that, thanks 2020, because people's buying patterns and behaviors changed a lot in that year. I know mine did. Like the things that I leave the house to go to do now, it's less things, fewer things. Yeah, I didn't know that he did that. I should check that out because I'm wondering if he essentially had the same point. That like these things are not in competition. There's nothing that shows there's no evidence at all that manga doing so well is bad for Western superhero comics. And that's what they're talking about, by the way, because if they compared manga to like kids comics are doing fucking great. You know what I mean? They don't want to talk about those because, the only thing that they can ever bring up as examples is stuff like, I mean, I still get people bringing up Snowflake and Safe Space, guys. And I made a video on that. They still bring that shit up. Like a comic book that never came out. Those characters never saw printed page, never happened. But they will act like that is evidence. And another one is I Am Not Starfire, which was a kid's comic, and it sold pretty well. It wasn't for them. It wasn't for me. You know what I mean? But they're like holding it up as like, look at what they're doing. It's like, man, it's so fucking disingenuous. Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you looked at that explanation of the cult of tradition with fascism, it's like, let's see.
Ignoring contradictory parts.
See how it says that there's basically multiple different traditions. They will adopt from anything that they feel serves their needs, right? And they will avoid any kind of contradictory aspect of it that isn't convenient for them. And that'd be one of them. I mean, I don't even know how that's really, because like manga is just it's selling well. I mean, it's like it doesn't matter though. They're not in competition. There's no, like, if anything, there's evidence and this isn't really true either, but it kind of seems like it more than the other way. It is that since comic sales have been going up until this year and the last year, manga's been going up, so it kind of seems like manga brings Western comics with it. And I don't even like saying manga versus comics because it's all comics, man. It's all comics. There's a hint of xenophobia going on there, racism, whenever you have to divide them so much. You know what I mean? I don't like manga. I've tried to read it. I got the Wolverine manga recently. I didn't really like it that much, but I'm I still consider it comics. It's just a different type of story. It's sequential narrative art, Heartstopper does have an adaptation because my kid likes it. It's like on season 2 or some 3 on Netflix or whatever. Yeah, my kid's a big fan of Heartstopper. I will never say that the way that I will never say that there's not problems in the comic book industry. There are fucking problems, believe me. And I'm working on a video. Well, not working on it yet, but I've started collecting information and making some notes. And at some point, I will have a video that's just going to go as deep into all this as I possibly can, and kind of give not just my thoughts, but like I'm going to base my thoughts on information that I find. Imagine that, finding facts and then forming opinions based on that. I think that the original sin of the comic book industry that has always been there and still there is creators get fucked over. That's got to be something that's got to be fixed. As a matter of fact, actually, that reminds me, I was going to talk about a little bit of news real quick. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So you guys know who Rick Remender is? Anybody? Sure, some of you do. Rick Remender is a very talented, very successful, very popular comic book writer, right? He's worked for Marvel. I don't know if he's worked for DC. I can't think of what he would have done, but I'm sure he has at some point. All right, just making sure. Oh, Pilar knows. Okay. Hey, look. Hey, don't. I'm not trying to talk down anybody here. I'm just not sure what the range of like people's awareness of comics is, right? But like, this is the fucking perfect example of what I was just saying with the problems with the creators getting screwed over, because Rick Remender rejected Batman and X-Men to sign exclusive to Image. That's pretty nuts. Like, that is, I mean, not nuts. Like he it's a good choice on his part, but it's nuts that that's the conditions that exists, where Batman and X-Men is something that a comic book writer is going to, typically that's like a dream type thing. But, he's also already done some X-Men and whatnot as well. So like, maybe he feels he's tapped that already, but like, yeah. Pink Bunny Zero's got all the facts. Hell yeah. Mark too. Okay. I'll never ask again. Jesus Christ. So he signed a 3-year exclusive contract with Image, effective immediately. This is not a deal often signed at Image Comics. The only comparable ones are Jeff Lemire and Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It'll see Remender commit all of his creator-owned work to Image Comics, and for that to be the focus of his creative work for that period, working with his Giant Generator imprint. So, yeah, it's just, Marvel and DC should be able to fucking offer this type of, someone of his status, something he can't fucking, refuse. But why would he? Even if they offered him a bunch of money, which I'm sure they did. I'm sure it wasn't like a small paycheck or whatever, but like, he doesn't own the rights to anything. So it doesn't matter how much of his fucking creative, sweat and blood he puts into a thing, how much, of himself he just pours onto the page or whatever. At the end of the day, he's got to put those toys back when he goes home. And I'm not saying that Marvel needs to be giving these characters over to anybody, but like, they need to start changing how they do things, because nobody's incentivized to create new characters, right? That's one of the reasons that they often just come up with a legacy character. And I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing. There's a lot of legacy characters that I really like. I've done streams on them recently. But I think it could be argued that there should be more new characters introduced, like just brand new concepts and whatnot. Because with a legacy character, they don't have to think of a new concept that then somebody might want to own or whatever. And a talented creator is not going to come on Marvel and DC and then just start throwing out new character ideas. If they've got great character ideas, they're going to keep those in their back pocket for whenever they're writing their own shit. So yeah. And they never have, and they never ever have. If you guys haven't seen, I've got a video on my channel about Siegel and Schuster, Superman's creators, and just how screwed they got, considering Superman was the first, comic book superhero, essentially. And you consider how profitable that fucking character is and has been. It's fucked up that his creators essentially died, pretty poor and miserable. And if it wasn't for the fact that the creators sued DC at the time that this first Superman movie came out, their names would have been separated from the character forever. Like DC was trying to do that already. I think they'd already started not putting their names in the comics whenever they would publish it. So like, if they hadn't sued successfully and made it to where like their names will now forever be tied to Superman, thankfully, but like they would have died, essentially penniless and forgotten to a degree. And that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, I guess let's see if anybody's ready to do an initiative stream yet. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and then I'll start up the initiative stream pretty soon. I guess we technically should have already, or about to start in a couple of minutes. So let me adapt that real quick. But like, yeah, Bill Finger wasn't credited for a long time. I think Batman versus Superman was the first one, which like, sorry, Bill, it's not the best thing to be credited on, but like, yeah, it's good that he is finally being credited, and it took a lot to get that done. Alrighty, so I just switched that initiative stream to 125 so that I can take myself a little break, get myself a little lunch. If only credit was money, yeah. Yeah, that I need to watch that again because I was actually really surprised with some of the shit that I learned in that. Like, I did not realize how big a piece of shit Bob Kane was. Just Bob Kane it's like he was everything that some people seem to make Stan Lee out to have been, right? There's some people that want to make Stan Lee out to be just, he just stole credit from everybody and stuff. And it's like, I'm not going to say that he didn't take more credit than he deserved or whatever, but like, I have my own feelings about that. Yeah. Bob Kane seems like a real POS. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. Then I'll be back, I guess, maybe with me, maybe with others. I'm not sure exactly when everybody's going to be able to join today. I know DJ is going to at some point. I think maybe I need to message him actually. Yeah, we'll see. But we streaming. Thanks everybody. This has been pretty cool considering I hadn't done one like this before. And I didn't really have a plan other than talk about comics. Mission accomplished. So you guys see the video on the Initiative channel that the quartering is sponsored by literal Nazis? That's cool, right? That's pretty cool. No? I knew it. I knew it, Pillar of Garbage. I knew you'd think that. I think we all had the feeling about you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you make great videos and stuff, but like there's a air of superficiality about it. All right. Oh yeah, there's this. How is Dick Grayson, no matter who draws him, no matter, you know, like he's just the hottest. I'm not even gay, man. He's just fucking hot, right? Like, I guess just being named Dick, you're gonna just carry that kind of swagger. I don't know what it is, man. He's just fucking sexy. Just saying. It's the glutes. It's the glutes, yeah. I mean, I'm not gay, but I'd be gay for Dick. I'd be gay for Dick for sure. All right, guys. I will see you in about 20 minutes or so. If you want to hop over there, or if you're on the Initiative channel, stay here or hop over to Actual Fandom or whatever. I think we're also going to be streaming out to, let me check. Also on Eric Debunks so far. Might add more channels as people show up. So anyways, hope to see you there. Please subscribe if you're not. And then all of the Initiative folks are linked in the description of whichever stream you're on. There's a link tree that you could click on that and just hit all of us up. That's the best thing you could possibly do to support us. Also, Pillar of Garbage. Subscribe to him. I mean, not that I need to promote him or anything, but you know, if you're not for some weird reason, you should be. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Marvel has always been and always will be a reflection of the world right outside our window. That world may change and evolve, but the one thing that will never change is the way we tell our stories of heroism. Those stories have room for everyone. The only things we don't have room for are hatred, intolerance, and bigotry.
Again, I don't know who your partner is. I don't know what kind of gay shit y'all got going on. Like, first of all, what type of gay ass shit? These fucking fruits, man, will sit here and they them, whatever he goes by, maybe. We offered this fucking fruit. But these fucking fruits, let me see if I can find his partner. I think we may be dealing with the rainbow, if you know what I mean. Talking about his partner, but I'm tired of